As I'm using my AI voice clone for these YouTube videos, I thought I'd better explain what it is and how it's used. The key thing is that it sounds just like I used to, and the speech generated is natural sounding with intonation, a big advance over voice banking. So keep watching to learn how to get a voice clone, how to use it, and the downsides, of course. I have a diagnosis of motor neurone disease, MND, and after losing the ability to walk, the next thing that's been affected is my speech. I started to notice a small change in my voice in November 2021 when I was recording a voice commentary of some slides for a friend of mine who was retiring. When I played the recording back, I could hear that I sounded different. Hi Mark and friends, I hope you're having a great evening. I've known Mark for many years, decades. I asked my wife if my voice had changed, but she didn't think it had. The change was small and gradual, so I supposed that hearing me every day, the change hadn't been noticeable. But it's not every day you hear your own voice, and that's why I detected the change. Having noticed the small beginnings of change in my speech, and expecting a further and maybe total deterioration, I looked into voice banking. I chose to bank my voice with Speak Unique, specifically using the initiative I Will Always Be Me. This is a short book that was specially written for banking your voice. You also get an audio copy of the book with your voice reading it that you can share with your family and friends. I found it quite hard to read from an emotional point of view, knowing that this will probably be the last record of your voice and the last book you'll read out loud is bad enough. Then there's the content, which deals with changes that someone with a diagnosis of MND can expect in the future, which is upsetting. In addition, the part of the brain that deals with emotions is messed up by MND, so I tend to get way more emotional about things than I would normally. Reading the book, I often found myself having to re-record some pages many times before I could speak naturally. Here's a sample of the book and how I sounded back then. This was in May 2022.
Everything is changing. That means at some point I might need help from you to do the things that I used to do myself, like opening stubborn jars or reaching things on high shelves. I might trip or stumble, and then I will need your help to get back up.
When I was ready, that is, my speech was seriously deteriorating, I applied for funding which was available from the MNDA here in England. I could then use the Speak Unique app on my iPad and iPhone with my digitized voice. Here is a sample.
This is my digital voice that I banked using the I Will Always Be Me book. What do you think?
I was really impressed with this. It definitely sounded like me. However, the voice sounded monotone and lacks intonation and emotion. It's also difficult to generate the speech, as I never got around to touch typing, and I can't thumb type on a phone like a teenager. I'll be addressing this issue with text-to-speech apps in a later video, but basically they are fine for asking for something or answering a question, but not really up to conversation, which is what we do most of the time. Anyhow, that's voice banking. So what's AI voice cloning? Almost everyone has heard of AI over the past year or so, and many have an opinion on the topic, mostly unfavorable. That it will lead to a lot of job losses in the future is inevitable, but I'm sure new jobs will emerge. So, what's this got to do with voice cloning? Well, there are many applications for voice cloning, such as AI customer service agents that in the future will speak to you or even be a human-like speaking avatar. These are already possible. AI voice cloning has lots of other uses. Many voiceover artists are going to be replaced, as are dubbing artists for films. But a new application if you are at risk or have already lost most of your voice, like me, is that you can recreate your voice from a ridiculously short audio recording. For instance, the voice you are hearing now was cloned from a 90-second long video clip I recorded back in November 2021, when I first noticed slight changes in my speech. My voice was cloned by a startup company called ElevenLabs. They have in 2 years become one of the leaders in voice cloning. They are a software company that specializes in developing natural-sounding speech synthesis software using deep learning. They offer a range of options for their services, but if you have a diagnosis of MND, you can apply for funding for the Pro package worth $99 a month. If you are in the US, you should contact Bridging Voice for funding, and elsewhere in the world, the Scott Morgan Foundation. Links are included in the description below. Anyhow, let's look at how you can create a voice clone. This is the procedure for outside the USA via the Scott Morgan Foundation. You can find their webpage partnering with ElevenLabs by scrolling down their homepage and clicking Discover More. You then scroll down to the Apply Now button and fill in the form. This will take a few minutes, and you'll need to upload a letter confirming your diagnosis of MND or ALS. I got a confirmation email back, and 2 days later the welcome email with my ElevenLabs coupon. There's a link to a document that gives all the details you need to set up your ElevenLabs account. You'll need to find an audio clip of you speaking. It's preferable if it's high quality, in a room without an echo. There's no one else chattering away in the background, and you're speaking informally. If you still have good speech, then do record your voice now and keep it safe for later. For an instant voice clone, you need just 10 seconds of your voice. Longer will be better, but ElevenLabs says that more than 3 minutes will not improve your voice clone. From ElevenLabs' home screen, you can find documentation to help you through the process. To use your voice clone, there are, at the time of writing, 2 options, but I'm sure more will become available. Option 1 is to use ElevenLabs' web browser app. The link to this is in the top right-hand corner of the homepage. You need to select text-to-speech on the left. You select your voice, type in what you want to say, and then click Generate. Hi everyone, I'm Mike. You won't see my mouth move as I talk, as I no longer have much speech due to motor neurone disease. So you are listening to my AI voice clone, which sounds just like I used to. I can't walk these days either without aids, hence the name of my account, No Walkie, No Talkie. Note that you can make adjustments to how the text is spoken using the sliders. Stability, similarity, and style exaggeration. The other option is to use the app Predictable. The latest version allows you to select your ElevenLabs voice clones. Here is a demo using the same text. Hi everyone, I'm Mike. You won't see my mouth move as I talk, as I no longer have much speech due to motor neurone disease. So you are listening to my AI voice clone, which sounds just like I used to. I can't walk these days either without aids, hence the name of my account, No Walkie, No Talkie. Notice it sounds slightly different, but it's still a lot better than my banked voice. So if an AI voice clone is so much better, why bank your voice? The biggest reason at the moment is that banked voices are downloaded to your device and used within a text-to-speech app offline. There is therefore no further cost, and it will work on devices without an internet connection or even a SIM. So if you still have a perfect voice, then I recommend you bank it now. If you have a recent Apple phone, iPad or computer, then you can use Apple's personal voice for free. Find it under Settings, Accessibility. Otherwise, there are many ways to bank your voice. You can find a list of companies who offer this service on the MNDA Association's website. Although the speech from Voice Clone sounds much more like you, it is ironically not your voice. The way it works is like a stage impersonator mimicking your voice. To do this, when you press Generate, the text is sent to a cloud server. A huge amount of computing power is used to create the clone speech, and it's sent back to you. This means there may be a delay while your speech is generated, known as latency. If you are generating speech for a video like this, the delay is no problem. But if you are trying to join in a conversation, then it adds to the delay of having to type what you want to say, and the conversation will probably have moved on before you speak. We're normally only talking about 2 to 3 seconds on a fast internet connection. So at least for the moment, both methods have advantages, and I recommend you do both. I have several more videos planned about my life without being able to speak, so do subscribe to my channel to get notified, and of course do give me a like if this has been useful. Bye bye.